The one who steps back will not progress. Nothing is worse than avarice that destroys the mind, not even alcohol. It is unbecoming of that person who sits with his hands folded and prays to Allah for sustenance. Allah does not rain down gold and silver from the heavens. To earn a suspicious living is worse than begging. The biggest gift after Iman, faith, is your wives. Attain knowledge before old age settles in. Extravagance is also when a person eats whatever he wishes. Whosoever hides his secret keeps his safety, safeguarded with himself. The person who calls himself learned, indeed he is ignorant, and the one who calls himself from the dwellers of paradise, surely he is from the dwellers of hell. Tawbat Nasuha, accepted forgiveness, is the name of that forgiveness that is asked for a bad deed committed, in such a manner that he never returns to or commits that bad deed again. The strength in action is, never to put of what you can do today for tomorrow. It is not becoming of a Muslim to sit down and start praying for sustenance without attempting to earn it. He is well aware that gold and silver does not rain from the skies. If it wasn't for the claim of knowledge of the unknown, then I would say 5 people are from the dwellers of paradise. That family man who is poverty-stricken but is patient. That woman with whom her husband is happy and accepting. That woman who forgives his husband's duty of mahr, dowry approved by Muslim law. That person with whom his parents are happy. And that person who honestly repents from his sins. 3 things build love. To make salam, greeting. To make space for a person in a gathering. To address a person in a respectable and good manner. There are 4 types of regrets. Regret that spans over a day, e.g. when a person leaves his home without eating. Regret that spans over a year, just like the negligence shown when cultivating. Regret that spans over a lifetime, when a man and his wife are unsuited to each other. Regret that is eternal, which is when your Creator is unhappy with you. There are 3 types of people. Successful, he who listens to the advice of people and ponders over it. Lazy or lethargic, he who does what he wants without consultation or advice of people. Corpse, who neither gives nor listens to advice and consolation. If ever you see a learned person leaning towards this world, then know this: he is blameworthy for his religion, because the universal harm is that if a person desires something, then he is constantly engrossed in its quest. Faith, Iman, is to regard the oneness of Allah in one's heart, proclaim it with your tongue, and to obey the fundamental Islamic instructions. The relationship of true humility and genuine fear of Allah is with the heart and not by a show of outward actions. Why have you made slaves of those whose mothers had given birth to them free? Judgments or settlements in any cases should be done quickly, so that the accused, due to a prolonged period of time, are not compelled to withdraw their accusation. It is absolutely necessary not to associate with a beast, for though he wishes or means well, yet he would still be accused of committing a crime. Allah, shower your blessings of mercy on that person who informs me of my faults. When a learned man takes a false step, then he ensnares himself in a world of wrongdoings. One day a man was praising Hazrat Umar. He replied by saying, "Why are you destroying me even more with my desires? I am not a fool, but I pretend to be a fool in order to fool the fool. And just when the fool thinks I am a fool, I will expose the fool and show to him that he is the fool. I do not look at anything, except that I see everything with Allah. If I die in this condition that I have strived to earn an honest living, then it is more beloved to me than even dying as a martyr." Good behavior towards people is equivalent to wisdom. To request politely is half of knowledge, and to ascribe to sound policies is half of one's livelihood. To educate a material person is like placing a sword in the hands of a robber. Do not have faith in a person's compassion and politeness when he cannot keep his anger under control. Do not have faith in a religious person who is not tested during temptation. He is a friend who brings to your attention your faults, and to sing praises of a person in his presence is similar to slaughtering him. Laughing decreases one's age, while politeness, glamour, pomp and show which ease living standards are indications of people who are unaware of death. To show greed and avarice is impoverishing, to be unselfish is enriching, and to wish compensation impatience. Good deeds are the fulfillment of one's rights, and to do good deeds is a substitute for bad deeds. Youth before old age and old age before death is a blessing of life. A generous person is the beloved of Almighty Allah, even though he is a transgressor. A miser is the enemy of Almighty Allah, although he may pray and remember Almighty Allah excessively. To forgive an oppressor is oppression upon the oppressed. When you combine lawful with unlawful gains, then the unlawful contaminates the lawful gains, though it may be little. A mu'min does not keep as his friend one who is opposed to Almighty Allah and His Prophet, even though that person may be his mother or father. The sound of music and that of a mourner are two of the worst sounds. There is tranquility and peace in anonymity and confidentiality. We should leave the other 9 portions out for the fear of haram, unlawful. i.e., if in 10 portions one is haram, a Muslim would leave the other 9 portions out, meaning anything unlawful would be completely left out. Desire is never achieved without fear, nor manners and etiquette without formality, or happiness without peace, or wealth without gifts, or poverty without contentment, or dignity without politeness, or jihad, holy war, without divine guidance and assistance. Respite before preoccupation and old age before death is a blessing of life. Honor and dignity in this world is measured by wealth, while honor and dignity in the hereafter is measured by good deeds. Save yourself from the fires of hell, even if it means by doing a favor with half a date. If this too is not possible, then with sweet words. After Iman, there is no greater gift than a pious wife. Not to postpone is strength in action. Whosoever shows you your faults, he is your friend. Those that pay you lip service and praise are your executioners. One who guards his secrets is surely safe. The person who constantly discloses my faults to me is dearest to me. Fear that person who you dislike. He is an intelligent person who can translate his actions into good. Never put off for tomorrow what you can do today. There is never a chance of pain in the neck if one does not raise his head too high in the air. Do not forget about yourself whilst being concerned for others. To stop sinning is easier than to bear the burden of seeking repentance. Remove your gaze from the splendor of the world. Do not let the love of this world enter your heart. Beware. The love of this world does not perhaps destroy you, just as it had destroyed previous nations. Victory is gained through strategy and trust in Allah, not by wishful thinking. The most intelligent amongst you is he who fears Allah the most. Be sympathetic towards the poor so that they may be able to speak and build courage. Extend a hand of friendship to a foreigner, because if his stay is extended, then he would leave his valuable possessions to return to his own country and leave that person responsible for his valuables who had been most worthy of his attention. Do not taunt and curse anyone, for this gives rise to collective evils in a person. One should not judge a person by the number of salat, prayer, or roza, fasting, but by his wisdom and honesty. To die for the right is better than to live for falsehood. Courage is recommended, cowardice is detestable, and falsehood is vulnerable to vanish. Prayer is connected to the heart not by mere apparent actions. To educate a seeker of materialism is to place a sword in the hands of a highway robber. Do not trust the character of one who cannot control his temper. To laugh excessively is a sign of no remorse for death. To side with the oppressor is oppression on the oppressed. Death is the best teacher.